Hey people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well and in good health. Okay, in today's podcast, I just want to touch upon a few different things, and the main element here is going to be around digital products. Now, why digital products? Right, okay, so I'm not sure where you've been or if you're aware of what's going on around you. So it's about having that spatial awareness, awareness of society, awareness of what's happening in the spaces around you, right? And you've probably seen it, most of you have seen it. But the question is really, have you understood like what's going on basically, right? So you can see in the recent couple of years that have gone by, we've had all these issues around lockdowns, that kind of stuff, and a lot of businesses and economies have been destroyed because of this, and we have seen the output. Now it's time to kind of like consider, who you are and where you sit in all this kind of space, and in terms of yourself as an individual, but more kind of like focusing on the economic side in terms of financially. So a lot of people got blasted during this period because they had mortar and brick stores, that kind of stuff, retail in person stores. So the footfall just pretty much died overnight, kind of thing, and online sales kind of like boosted up in certain sectors and industries, and unfortunately, a lot of people did lose out. And the question is how are you going to control yourself in terms of your financials, right? People understood that they had jobs. Some people lost their jobs. Now, losing your jobs, what are you going to do? Now, a lot of people, as we know, live paycheck to paycheck. So if you lose your job and you haven't got any kind of reserves or any money saved up, kind of thing, emergency fund, for example, you're in trouble. So what you need to look at is basically where you sit with today, right now. And I think you need to take some time out away from the family, away from your daily kind of lifestyle routine. Maybe if you work during the week, maybe like on a weekend day or something like that, just go away, just a few hours to yourself, just for you to think, right? Because today we live in an attention economy. So, you pick up your phone and you've got all these different social media apps. You've got this kind of dance video, this, that, this happening in the news, this, that. And it's all there designed to take you away from your mission, your goal, and it's attention for those apps. Because at the end of the day, the more attention they get, the more they can get people to sit down and scroll through those kind of videos, whether it's short form or long form, hour after hour after hour, the more money they make to advertisers. And essentially, the more people get hooked. And at the end of the day, the only person who's going to win, essentially, the entity that wins is the technology company. So you've got to be aware of your surroundings and, situational awareness. And one of the ways to do that is just to pull yourself away a little bit, just for a short period of time where you can actually sit down and think, right? Think about, what's going on essentially in terms of your life. So here we're talking about finances. So you need to look at your income. So what is your income right now? Are you working? Are you unemployed? What's the situation? Are you an entrepreneur? Do you have multiple flows of income coming in? What's the situation? So you're looking at the income and then you're looking at the expenditure. So income versus expenditure. So I don't know where you guys live around the world. So many of you listening to the podcast tune in from different parts of the world. So you'll see, for example, here in the West, we have a lot of kind of like gas, electric bills, that kind of stuff. And in the recent kind of year or two, the gas bills have just shot through the roof, and it's impacted people, negatively because their prices have shot up. And then you get, some, briefings saying that some of these companies have made billions in profits, record profits even, many, many times more than previously. And then you've got people who can't afford to heat themselves. You've got old age pensioners who can't, they've got to choose between eating and heating. You've got young people who are going to school, not having had breakfast on empty stomachs, choosing between heating and eating. And this is not a particularly great place to be. And in terms of, where we are in society today, it's not a great outlook, particularly in Western countries which are supposed to be economically developed and so on. I mean, this is happening here right now. And a lot of people, even though some people might not be talking about it, they're actually worried. I mean, I was worried, and I know a lot of people out there with families, some with children, will be worried about what the future holds. And the best thing to do is try and tackle the situation head on and sit down and take that time out to have a look. I mean, you could just use a basic tool like a spreadsheet, or you could write things down, look at what's coming in. So, for example, let's say you're making, just to make the number simple, £1,000 a month, let's say, through your 9 to 5 job, whatever, yeah? Or if you work part time or something like that, right? Then have a look at your expenditures, what's going out. So nowadays, a lot of people have Wi-Fi at home, so they're paying for the internet, they're paying gas bills, electric bills, food bills. Then they've got their telephone bills. They might be on a monthly contract. Then they might have their other outgoings, for example, clothes that they might need or whatever. Then miscellaneous stuff, for example, emergency. You never know what might be happening. So your car, so you might have car payments, petrol prices, all these different kind of expenditures you need to put, tally up and get a sense of what's going on. So, if you've got income of £1,000 and your expenditures coming in at like £800 a month and you're left behind with a couple £100, emergency hits, God forbid, something happens, your parents get sick or someone passes away, you need to fly out to a funeral, pay to bury somebody. I mean, I think these days it costs more than £5,000 just to bury somebody here in the UK. So, anything can happen at any time. So you need to be aware of your income and your expenditure for a start. Because once you start to understand where you're, spending and you're earning, you'll get a better idea of how to kind of manage those finances. And it is about micromanaging those finances as an individual or a household. So you as the leader of the household need to be aware of that. Okay, so this kind of micromanagement is important really in terms of getting on top of your localized economy, your economy within your household. Even you as an individual or someone who's got, a missus and children, you have your own little economy. Then you have the economy outside. Then the macro level, you've got like governments who manage billions and billions of dollars worth of monies when it comes to like education, transport, fixing the roads, the healthcare systems, all this kind of stuff out there that they manage on a larger scale, talking billions. But even though you might be talking a few thousands, you're managing your own personal economy within your household. And it's important to start to understand what is money. Learn about money, take the time out. Because I don't know about you, but we weren't really taught that at school when we were young, right? In a secondary school, through education, we never taught really how to manage money, what is money, how to buy a house, how to set up a business. All these kind of things were never really taught. And these are the most important things that you're going to face as soon as you become an adult and you go out there in the big wide world. And ironically, you're just not taught that. You're kind of conditioned to be like a robot in the sense that you're working 9 to 5, you're working for somebody else and that's it. It's kind of like a system that might have worked 100 years ago when there was a lot of factories and mills and you just went in there, you stayed there for life kind of job, one job for 50 years, 40 years. You got a little bit of a pension at the end of it and that's it. But now you'll find that, even like state pensions or these type of things, they're not enough to cover basic living costs. So you have to basically learn about what money is, right? Once you've picked up and understand what money is, that's when you start to realize, yes, this is money, this is how it works, right? This is my personal economy, this is my expenditure, this is my spending, this is how much money I make, right? Now you need to look at how much money you need to live a decent, affordable life, good standard where you don't have to worry as much. So, is that 10k a month? Is that 50k a month? Is that 100k a month? People make millions. There's people making millions in a day. Never mind, 10k in a month. 5k, 10k, whatever it is. There's people making millions, 100k in a day, right? How are they doing it? And one of those avenues that you can actually look into is basically digital products. So let's say, for example, you're into your fitness, you've been training for a while, maybe you've got a decent body, decent physique, and now you want to try and monetize that skill because maybe you were overweight before and now you've kind of spent the last couple of years, working on yourself, building decent physique and body in the gym and so on. So basic stuff is, you get on social media, but this time you're using it in a beneficiary way where you're not a consumer no more. You're actually selling a product or service in order to make money and build a following. So you create content. The content could be around health or fitness. maybe recording yourself talking, maybe doing a workout in the gym or something like that in this example, and post it out there on different social media platforms. Have a look at what's going on now. So for example, short form content is working well on particular platforms. You can have a look at and other mediums as well. And then, you really got to be posting daily. I'd say at least maybe a couple of times a day if you can, but just once a day, bare minimum. But obviously, if you can do it a few times a day, and it doesn't have to be, big, long 2-hour videos. It could be a quote. It could be, a few sentences. It could be a short video. It could be a 30-second video, something motivational, something inspirational, something practical, showing somebody how to do a bicep curl, for example. And then longer form of content where you could be talking about, like, for example, nutrition, diet, that kind of stuff, right? And build it up. You could pre-record it and then push it out. So you've got like a 30-day calendar. Now you pre-planned it and you're managing your time effectively. And you've actually now got a calendar of content that you can follow and get out there. And if you have the funds, you could even hire, a personal assistant. You can use sites like Fiverr, for example, to get a PA, personal assistant, virtual assistant, that they could basically edit your content for you and get it out there, push it out there for you, manage your social media if you have the funds. If you don't have the funds, then you've got to do that yourself to start with. You've got to get in there, nitty gritty, you've got to grind to start with. And you've got to be in there for a while. You can't just give up after, 2 days and say, oh, nobody liked my post. You'll find that a lot of people will start posting stuff and they'll get 0 likes or, 0 views or whatever it is. That's fine. But then you've got to, be at least in it for a year, 12, 24 months, 36 months of constant content going out there, because people need to get to know you, build trust, like you, build a relationship with you. That's when they're likely to buy. Then you can basically package some of that stuff. So for example, once you start getting a bit of a following, so let's say, for example, 10 top tips to grow your biceps, 10 top tips to lose weight, 5 tips to become healthier, fitter, whatever it is, you can create yourself a little content piece, for example, an ebook or a PDF guide. Very basic, very simple. You can use a Word document, you can get someone to make it for you. Freelancer, for example, you might have 10 pages on there. You might have a cheat sheet, just 1-page cheat sheet, depending on what exactly it is. Put it together into a PDF document, which is pretty easy, uploaded onto any kind of platform and downloadable as well. And then you can basically, drive traffic to a landing page or to a link in your bio or something like that. And then from the landing page or from the website, you can sell that PDF for like $20 or $17 or $7, whatever it is. Once people, you'll find, like, for example, if 1,000 people see that, maybe 100 people click and maybe 10 people buy, right? So, at the end, it's only a small number of people are going to buy. But if you've got a product for, like, let's say $20 and 10 people buy, that's $200. And you might have done that, for example, in a day's worth of social media marketing. You can build a mailing list out as well, so you can start to build trust with potential clients there as well, and that mailing list is yours, kind of thing. So obviously, you'll have that data type thing, and then you can move forward with that. And then once those people that purchase from you something basic like a PDF guide, then you could basically start, emailing them, sending them more value. So you have to add value to their lives. So just lots of value. It could be daily email. It could be email series where you're sending an email every 2 or 3 days or every week or every, whatever it might be, daily, however you want to do it. And again, you could create a content series there. And then, further down the line, once you build more trust, respect, and relationships with your followers, then you could actually pitch out some coaching program. So you could have a coaching program where you're charging, for example, 5k for 3-month program, and you get 20 people to sign up for that. That's 100k. Now you're a 6-figure entrepreneur. Whereas before you were making $1,000 a month in your job, so that's like 12k a year. Now you've all of a sudden pretty much 10x that, and you're making $100,000 just from a coaching program with a very small number of people, 20 people. People buy programs for 100k. I've seen people buy programs for 50k, 100k, like masterminds, 10k, 5k, 2k. And then you could also do online courses, for example. So you can pre-record like 10, 20 videos, put them into modules. You can use different platforms like Kajabi, Thinkific, and you can basically upload these videos onto there, create modules, and you can do the same thing, use your social media marketing and sell those courses as well. You can have them cheap for a couple of $100 or a bit more, like 997, 1997, something like that. And if you had it at like just under 2K, so if you sold 10, that's like 20K there. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much more than you're making in a year from your current job. And that's the power of digital products. You could also create membership sites, so you could have, people following you, and then you can drive the traffic to a landing page and get people to join up to a kind of like a membership site. So you can use like things like Patreon, for example, to get members there. You can now also on YouTube, you can get people to, join your channel as members, pay like $4.99 a month. So if they're paying £5 a month, get 100 people, that's £500 a month there. That makes a massive difference in terms of moving forward and generating revenue and income. And it does take time, but eventually, as you start to build out, your kind of like different platforms and your content, and then you put together an offering for the people that you build trust with and provide a value to, people will buy. Those people that, have an issue or a problem, and you're providing a solution to that problem. And you just got to be willing to, persevere and spend the time to do the hard work in order to be able to generate revenue and income. And today more than ever, it's important to be in control of your finances, because if you lose your job today or tomorrow, the economy changes, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So we've already seen what could happen. So you need to be in control, and you need to be aware. You need to be aware of your surroundings, and you need to take power and control of the situation so that you can have that freedom for your family and, grow that income and build from there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Please do like, share, subscribe, and consider supporting us on Patreon, link in description. Okay, catch up with you soon.